Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining in today. If you're seeing me for the first time, kindly subscribe. And for my existing subscribers, I say thank you for staying here. Please remember to click the like button as we go along. So today I'm going to be sharing an interesting story with you. It's the story of Samson and Delilah. It's a biblical uh, story um, that is being told in the book of Judges, chapters 13 to 16. Um, so I'm just gonna kind of summarize the story, and then I will draw the lessons for us to take from there. So why am I sharing this story? So recently I was having a chat with one of my brothers, and I said we were talking about um, how lack of mentorship can affect, men and cause them to do things. So he referred to Samson, giving an excuse to say the reason why he fell was because there wasn't any mentor. And I'm like, no, I can't. It's been a while I read the story of Samson, but I can't recall lack of mentorship being the issue. So I had to go back to read that again, and I thought to share that story. So it happened that there's this family of Mr. Manoah at that time in Judah, which is of course part of the Israeli nation, that didn't have a child. So the wife's been barren for some time, and probably they've been praying, maybe even joining the Hallelujah challenge and just believing God. And there came a time when God needed a savior for the Israelites at that time because they were being um, fought against by the Philistines. Now, the Philistines has been a long-standing enemy of the Israelites at that time, but occasionally God gives the Israelites victory over the Philistines, but sometimes God will deliberately allow the Philistines to win the Israelites in battle, especially when they've done disobedient stuff to God and He just needed someone to use as a tool of punishing them. So that was the case at that time. The Philistines have been invading the Israelites, tormenting them for 40 years, and God needed a savior. So He thought about, okay, I'm going to send someone to help, and he will be a mighty warrior. So um, there came an angel to Mr. Manoah. Mrs. Manoah. So the message was delivered to the Samson's mom before Samson was born to say, look, you're going to have a baby, and it's a special baby. And this child is going to be a deliverer. He will deliver the Israelites from the Philistines. But here's the catch: this child must not have his hair shaved. All right. So he's going to be consecrated from birth. He's a Nazarite, and part of his consecration would mean that you do not shave his hair. So Samson was Rasta baby, like, you know, 21,000 packs with, dreadlocks on his head. So, so the mom got the instruction. They also gave instructions to say he shouldn't have any unclean food or anything forbidden according to the custom of the land, and also no alcohol or strong wine. That instruction was also given to the father. So the wife went home, told the dad, told the husband. They received the word, and then later on, the promise came. The child came. They gave birth as he was prophesied concerning Samson. And as Samson began to grow, his hair began to grow, and now it was action time. So I believe that every one of us have things that God has assigned to happen at specific points in time. And when that time comes, you will be moved along that, either you're conscious of it or not. So that was the story of Samson. When it got to a time, there was just this strange desire for Philistine women. Amongst all the Israeli women, he couldn't find all the babes. I mean, this was a guy, good looking, so someone that would be that powerful physically to, to destroy the Philistines. He would probably be tall, good looking. But none of the Israeli women tickled his fancy, or maybe that wasn't, just written down or stated in the Bible. So he told his parents, get me a wife from among the Philistine women. And the parents were like, among all your Israeli clan, can't you find someone? He said no. And it was recorded in the Bible that God was deliberately steering his mind in that direction because of what he wanted to do to the Philistines. So the parents probably reluctantly took him there, and they got him a Philistine woman. And on the day of the wedding, so he got there, the father in law organized Ashwebi men for him. So I think there were like 30 Ashwebi men like that. Ashwebi men is just a slang for, men in uniform, like groomsmen at a wedding, right? So he was a visitor coming, so but they had to organize young men in the local environment to kind of join in the celebration. Celebration was meant to be for 7 days. So what did Samson do? Now he just gave them a riddle to say, he gave them a riddle. And the riddle has to do with, on his way there, he actually killed a lion with his hands, bare hands. And he took, I think after a couple of days of, well, when he was returning, um, he found some bees that were producing honey in the carcass of the lion, and he took some and ate some, and he didn't even tell his parents that he did that. Now I'm not a Jewish girl, so I'm not sure. I'm not too sure of the custom or tradition, but I think that must have been an unclean thing for him to have. So, um, excuse me. So he went ahead and he had he gave a riddle concerning what he had done, and no one could decipher that. So the wedding was meant to be for 7 days. So he said, "Look, if you're able to unravel this riddle, I'm going to give you 30 pieces of agbada." I named it agbada, but it's just a traditional wear, festive wear, and then 30 pieces of another kind of fabric. So of course men couldn't unravel it. So they went to the wife, the bride they had just given him, to say, could you please tell him to give us an answer? Try and in a cunning way get an answer for us. Otherwise, have you come to marry this guy, and you brought him over to our land to make us poor? Because how are we going to get these things that he's demanding? Because he's saying if they don't unravel, he will collect the 60 pieces of clothes from them, and if they do, he's going to give it to them. So the new wife, instead of enjoying honeymoon, she kept crying for days, and to say, look, are you going to let them destroy my father's house? I need you to give me an answer. And for days, she kept, disturbing Samson. And Samson eventually just gave the answer to her. And she went, of course, because she didn't want, she was afraid of those men. Those men threatened to burn down her and her father's house. So went to tell them, and they told the answer to Samson. Samson was so upset. And what he did was he went out into their city, killed 30 men, took their clothes from them, and used it to pay a side of the bargain. And he left, angrily went back to Judah. So the father-in-law was like, what kind of nonsense is this? The wedding had already progressed. They had, handed this girl out in marriage. So what he did, the father-in-law gave the girl out in marriage to his best man. So Samson went back to Judah, and after some time, he brought a goat, a live goat, went back to Philistine and said, can I have my wife back? And the father-in-law was like, no, I already gave him out to someone else. And again, he was upset, and that caused trouble. And again, he went and, set ablaze their barn houses, their storehouses where they keep food. He used foxes. It was, quite a damn dramatic. I'm not saying that because of time. And he used foxes to create this havoc, destroy their storehouses, I mean, for the entire city. And he went back. And the Philistines were upset, like, what kind of man is this? Who has done this? And they found that it was Samson. So they came to retaliate. They came to Judah and to say, hand us over Samson, else we're going to burn this place down. And 3,000 men of Judah, so his own people, went to him and said, look, guy, you've caused problem here. Come and be going. Come and be going as a Nigerian English. Come and be going. Like you're gonna bring trouble upon us. And he said to them, look, just hand me, tie me and give me to them. Make sure you don't kill me. And I think the reason he said it is he knows he's anointed. He knows he has power and he can kill. So he feels like if you attempt to kill me, I don't want to end up destroying my own people. So just leave me with them. So they handed him over. And he killed, I think he killed 1,000 Philistines that day using the jawbone of a donkey in his hand. That was how strong he was. And anytime he wanted to do these things, it will be recorded. It was recorded in the Bible that the Spirit of God came upon him and he was able to do it. So talk about the anointing, the power of God that enables people to do beyond their physical ability. And remember, that was what he was created for. That's what he's destined to fulfill. So he did it. And so again, you remember, so killing 1,000. So of course, the news went back to Philistine that 1,000 of their men had been killed. So they were like, okay. So he was on their list of, you know, people that they were actually looking out for to say this is trouble, you know. So they left him, and the Bible recorded that he ruled, he judged Israel for 20 years. So he was their leader, their warrior, defended them according to God's assignment for him. So then after 20 years, saying, 20 years past that incident of him killing 1,000. So it was recorded that he went to Gaza. Yeah, the same Gaza, in the news today, the war torn area. So they said he went to sleep with a prostitute, a Philistine prostitute, a lady. So I just don't understand. Something is always pulling him in that direction to find women there. I don't know what led to him going over there at that time after 20 years. Was it the burden of leadership? What is the stress of leadership? We weren't told again if he married somebody else. Was it marital pressure? What was it? Whatever the excuse was, or was it just a high level of testosterone? It's just one word I don't know how to pronounce. Testosterone. Testosterone. High level. Now, if I was going to analyze that medically, I'm going to say, like, that happened in biblical times. If we were going to analyze that, scientifically today, we would have said, what's Haman with this women? Because it was a powerful warrior and we're always fighting with all of that thing. Could it be that, scientifically, his body was making some demands on him that was beyond, what, any woman could satisfy at that time? I'm just saying. That's how I had to wear my glasses to make it a bit more scientific. But anyway, he went to sleep with a prostitute. So words came to the leaders that he's in town. Again, they were trying to kill him. They laid an ambush for him. He pulled up their gates, and maybe a gate weighing thousands of pounds. He pulled it up and carried it on top of the hill, more like daring them that if you want your city to be protected, come and bring down the gates from the top. So they hated his guts. They hated, the power that he carried. So shortly after, we're told that he fell in love with Delilah. Here comes Delilah. Now today, Delilah is, synonymous with a very beautiful, voluptuous woman, sexually attractive, but treacherous. A woman that can do you bad and do you dirty. So when you see a woman that's done a man dirty, especially betraying them, handing them over, they are seen as Delilah. So he met this beautiful, voluptuous lady, and again, a Philistine woman, and he loved her so much, and then stayed with her, and then the prime minister, the kings, the elders of the land, the Senate presidents, all of them gathered and had meetings that, yes, our enemy is in town and is in love with one of us. And we're going to use that lady to get the secret. There must be a secret. How is he doing all these mighty things? And he gave Delilah the job. Your man, you are one of us, but we want the man you're in love with or whatever you've claimed to have with him. We need you to get us the secret of his powers. And I remember when I was younger, when I usually read Sidney Sheldon's novels, and I'm not sure if it was him or James Hadley Chase. I don't know. But one of them will always say, every man has a prize. You just have to find it. All right. So no matter how strong you are, there's a code, there's a secret, there's a weakness that can be used against you, or there's something that can be used to get your attention that you will fall for. All right. So they use Delilah, like find that prize, and and they said, if you're gonna give us you're able to give us the secret, we will give you 1,100 pieces of silver. I just kind of say, let's say in today's um, monetary terms, we could say $1,100. Now, each of the lords said that. All right, each of the lords said that. So let's assume there were 10 of them. Basically, what they are saying is, we're going to give you $11,000. $11,000. And Delilah was like, oh, that's a lot. To hell with love. I don't love him. I'm just here to sell my markets. All right. So she went to to Samson, and she was like, Samson, what's the secret of your power? Da, 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 da. And Samson, she had three failed attempts. Three times she kept pestering Samson. What's the secret of your power? Tell me what it is. And she would say things like, you don't love me. You're lying to me. Oh, it's not fair. If you love me, you'll tell me. I'm not going to harm you. In fact, Delilah even was like, if you tell me, all I just want to do is to counsel you, to help you, maybe to pray, to my gods, the small g, to protect you. I mean, I'm here for in your interest. I'm not here to harm you. I just want to know. And she kept on doing that. And Samson lied to her on three different occasions, and just he thought she was joking, and would just give her, you say, oh, if you do this to me, then I will have no power. If you do that to me, then the power. And every time he tells her, she will go and do the same thing he said. And she would say, the Philistines have come to get you, Samson. And of course, Samson will get up because he lied. He didn't tell the real secret. And then she would cry again and say, you've lied to me. And I'm like, Samson, why didn't you know at that point that this lady is telling the truth? What kind of joke do you think this is? For three failed attempts. Now, the fourth time, the man gave in. And I'm thinking, why did you give in the fourth time? Maybe at that time there was a rush, an increased level of this testosterone we were talking about earlier, and he couldn't stand it. Maybe Delilah was like, it's enough. If you're not going to tell me the secrets of your power, then don't come near me. My bedroom door is closed. And of course, Samson was like, this one's going to kill me. Probably he couldn't hold that. And he was like, okay, I'm going to tell you. And he told, look, from birth, I've been consecrated from my mother's womb. No razor must come upon the locks, the dreadlocks on my head. That's where my power is. If that happens, the power is gone. And the Bible records that the woman knew at that fourth time that it was the truth. And she went ahead, of course, and cut it. That was when Samson was sleeping. That's why I knew there was a high level of testosterone at that point. Because the Bible said that when he woke up, his head was on Delilah's lap. So what was the head doing there before he slept? So that's which he couldn't control, the libido, when he slept off, the lady cut her. Or maybe she also mixed alcohol, because we've been told that you shouldn't have any strong wine as well. So maybe that was sipped into his food or his drinking away, and he just and so she cut the hair, and of course the Bible recorded that power left Samson. And she said it again the fourth time, the Philistines have come to get you. And this time it was no joke. They came in because Samson had no power. So they took him away, plucked out both eyes, captured him, and locked him somewhere. Now, when it was time for the Philistines to have a celebration to thank their God for giving them victory, that their enemies that have been tormenting them for years has been caught. So they now, all of them gathered, say they had this big event center that could seat like 5,000 people, 10,000 people. All of them were gathered in there, the kings, the nobles, the lower cadre of the society, all of them came, and they said they should go bring something to entertain them. And then what they didn't know is that Samson's hair had begun to grow back again, because they had captured him for maybe some days or some weeks, and maybe months. So his hair was beginning to grow. They totally forgot that grace could come again. They thought that was it after the hair has been cut. So when they brought him, he said to God, I think he could sense the power of God upon him, because his hair was back. And he said to God, one more time, let me have vengeance over the Philistines. I know I've done wrong, but give me time to avenge myself. And the mistake he now made was, Samson said, ask God to let him die with the Philistines. So I'll talk about that briefly soon. Anyway, so he has the person leading him. Remember, they plucked out both eyes. He said, I'm tired. I need to lean on a wall. Can you just move me closer to, I need to lean on a pillar. Can you move me closer to a pillar within the event center while he was waiting to entertain them? And the foolish guy led him, he didn't know, he led him to the pillar. And once he could grab hold, he was standing between two pillars that held the building. Once he laid his hand upon them, he prayed, God, give me grace to have victory. And the rush of God's power came upon him, and he pulled down the entire building. So, pulled the entire building, it collapsed upon everybody, including Samson, and they died. And the Bible recorded that the amount of Philistines that died on that day surpasses the number of people or number of Philistines that he had killed all his life. The victory he had on that day. So it's a significant story, still very relevant. Like I said, some ladies are still referred to as Delilah. Delilah did us dirty, really, we ladies now, because some men have trust issues when you're trying to, get men to be vulnerable and to share the deepest desires and secrets. They'll be like, you're going to give me out. So Delilah she was the one that did sisterhood bad on that one. But what stories do we have from here? That we take from here? Samson's birth. I always say it's not everyone that was given instructions about their life from birth. A lot of us have to discover it along the way, what works for us and what doesn't. But there are some children that are quite special, that before they are coming, their parents would have been alerted through the servants of God, or even through the parents saying, this is a special child. These are the things the child will do, and these are the don'ts. It's like having a manual for a child. You don't take that lightly. Usually, when care is not taken, that's what is usually being used against that child to bring that child down. And that's an example with Samson. So, yes, maybe lack of mentorship, or maybe he was just stubborn, he wasn't listening, or should we even say it's providence? Because the first marriage, him going there the first time, the Bible says it was just the Spirit of God steering him because God wanted to use him. So, but anything that you know you're not meant to be doing, if you've noticed it has spoken to you directly or not, that it just doesn't work for you, stay away from it, basically. And the second lesson is about the role of Delilah. The same trick had been used the first time with Samson, when the first wife he married kept saying, day after day, pressuring him, give me the secret of this code. Let's say that he has a soft spot for these women, or should we say that because he had stayed with them for quite some time, he fell under the pressure. So pressure is key. I always say to people, don't say you would not fall for something when you're surrounded by an environment or something that keeps putting pressure on you, except you flee and take yourself out of that situation, that you're going to fall for it. So I'm thinking, the first time Delilah said this to you, second time, why didn't you just go back home? But again, we don't have context as to what was happening at that time. Maybe his wife had divorced him the second time, or he had no one to go back to. Maybe that was the case. Why didn't you just go back? Why did you stay and still thinking, oh, she's a woman, she's not gonna get this out of me. I'm strong, I'm strong. But what she didn't know was that the woman had time and put pressure on him, and probably had a bit of alcohol and some, you know, which I don't want to mention on here. And that made him fall. The final lesson is on the mercy of God. Even when we think that what we've done is so terrible, so bad, not deserving forgiveness, do not condemn yourself to death if God hasn't condemned you to death. I feel like when they cut his hair, if they wanted to kill him, or if God wanted that to be his end, they would have killed him at that point. But it didn't occur to them to do that. So why did he condemn himself? Why did he ask that he be killed when he had the opportunity with them? There were specific prayers Samson had prayed all through his life. If you read the story yourself from Judges 13 to 16, there was a time when he killed people. He was thirsty, asking for water. There was a spring of water. There were things that God had answered. So if he had asked that, I want to kill these people, but Lord, spare my life, that would have happened. He would have survived it. But he said, let him die with them. And that was his end. So the mercy of God is ever available. And do not condemn yourself to death or to anything if God has not condemned you to it. So I don't I I actually planned for this to kind of summarize this, not to make it very long, but it ended up becoming too long. I hope you're able to watch it till this point. But there's still lessons to draw from it today, very relevant to our lives, which I've stated. You can please drop your comments in the comment section if you've got any contribution or addition to the story. And remember to like this video, share with others, and also subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for listening.